In this video, we're going to look at positioning. We'll start out here with the HTML. In the body, I have enclosed within a paragraph element, I have some text. Then I've created a division using an ID style called positioning demo, and I've got the same text enclosed within the division. And then finally I've got some body copy in a paragraph element and an image, our clouds image. Let's take a look and see what that looks like on the browser. So here we are. Here's the paragraph element styled red. Then the division, which has borders, and then some body copy and a paragraph element, and then there's our clouds. Let's take a look now at the styles. So the styles here, body has a font size of 14 pixels. Then we've got the P element and positioning demo as an ID. Remember that the pound symbol indicates that this is an ID style, not a class. A class would have a period in front of the word. And the font size, color, width, margin is 5 pixels, padding is 20 pixels, and the background color and border styles. I don't have to have these here, but I think it makes it more visible when we're looking at it in the demo mode. Now, the current positioning is in the order that it appears in HTML. But let's say I want to play a little bit with the positioning, and let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing we'll do is use the position and call it absolute. And we'll set the top to 0 pixels and the right to 0 pixels. And we'll save that, and then we'll view it. And you can see now that the absolute value generates an absolutely positioned box, and its position so that the top is 0 pixels and it's to the right 0 pixels. Now if I were to change this setting to say 50, it would show up 50 pixels down from the top. Let's try that. So here we are. It's 50 pixels down from the top. Let's try and push it out from the right. Let's try 100 pixels out from the right. And that looks about 100 pixels from the right. You can see, because of the way I've defined this, if I change the width of my browser, that box is going to move. Let's try a different kind of positioning. We'll go back to 0 pixels, top and right. Let's change the position to fixed and see what happens. So it looks to be, at first, just like the original absolute with 0 pixels on the right and 0 pixels from the top. But what happens if I scroll this down? You can see that the block doesn't flow above the underside of the top of the browser. It actually stays in the front, wedded to the upper right hand corner. That's what's meant by fixed. So with fixed, you can fix an item anywhere on the screen, and if the user scrolls, that item remains in place. Let's try relative now. Basically, the value relative generates the position box where the position is first computed as for the normal flow. So the normal flow, if we see in the index, it is after the paragraph element and before this body, copy, and a paragraph element. And you can see here that it looks like it is basically unchanged. Let's try changing the position in our CSS a little bit, see what happens. Let's say 100 from the top and 100 from the right. See what happens. And you can see now that the relative position takes the starting point from where it starts in the normal flow, and then it offsets according to that starting point. So rather than starting from the very top of the browser, it starts from where I ended off in the previous element. Let's say rather than right, let's say I want it off of the left. And it's pushed to the left. Note that I can indicate things in terms of pixels and negative pixels. So if I say to the right minus 100, that's the same thing as saying left positive 100. Now there's one more which is called position static. And static really just kind of turns off the positioning. It doesn't position. So in this case, even though I have top 100 pixels, left 100 pixels, because of the position static, it basically turns off the positioning, so it ignores the top and left settings.